Hello and welcome to another episode of Swim Sets by the Pool, the podcast where you get free swim workouts and tips on how to swim better. My name's Nathan Cohen. I'm a professional triathlete and I swam in community college. And yeah, I also teach people how to swim. It's one of my passions. With me is Greg Harper, a man who honestly needs no introduction, but he also loves talking about swimming. Greg, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well, Nate. Thanks for asking. And I'm also a professional triathlete. And just like Nate, yeah, we're just here trying to help you get better at swimming today. And Nate was just complaining before the episode that it's drizzling in SoCal and 55 degrees, but I did a run workout this morning and it was 29 degrees and had snowed last night and it was still just a little bit of like flurry in the air, but that's actually Goggins, Nate. You're
Dude,
not
do
Goggins. I'm
you
Goggins.
yeah, do you, worry about, like, slipping on ice or something when you
Oh
run?
yeah, all the time.
Oh,
But
man.
New York has the plowing like snowplow system is so dialed and like
Mhm.
so the roads get plowed and depending on what the temperature is, I have a good understanding of how the ice situation works and it's really not that icy in most spots most of the time. So I am fortunate of that. But tearing my ACL on ice is literally my biggest fear. So yes, Nate, I'm very scared.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I was on the pool deck today, it was drizzling, and I was like, "Ah, it's kinda cold, I kinda wanna run to the locker room, but I'm gonna play it safe and just walk."
Yeah, smart. Pool decks are slippery. So, I mean, the lifeguards are always yelling at you not to run. And that's because they see everyone hit their head on the ground all the
Mhm.
time when they do that. So,
Yeah.
um, I got a good set for us from New York today. But firstly, the quick tip. And I'm not sure if we've talked about something similar, but my quick tip is do your homework. And what I mean by that is, hey, I don't know how to swim any backstroke, or hey, I don't know how to do breaststroke. Go to the internet and try to teach yourself. There's so many resources out there. I just, I don't really like that excuse, like, yeah, well, I don't know how. It's like, it's 2025. There's so many resources you can get a basic understanding to take with you to the pool and jot down a few notes and then try it out, right? Like there's resources out there. Yes, getting a coach and having a lesson is obviously you should do that as well, but yeah, just do a little bit of homework and don't think, well, I don't know how to do that. It's like, okay, well then try harder and do some homework and yeah, bring it to the pool.
Mhm. And this is like a side tip on that. Don't take advice from, like, some random triathlete you meet, like, once, like, the week leading up to a race on, like, some swim advice, unless it's me or Greg. But if you, like, don't know how much you should sight or something, just, like, watch a video of, like, a triathlon swim and, like, see how much, like, the pros are sighting. Like, watch Greg crush everyone at 70.3 worlds, like, leading out of the water and be like, "Oh, how much does Greg sight?" Maybe that's a good place for you to start with, you know? Because some people will tell you, like, yeah, some weird stuff and yeah, just there's a lot of resources out there, so you could just kinda see and get a good baseline.
Yeah, you can get a baseline. And the thing about it is there's so much information out there that yes, one voice is kind of the best. Like if you have a coach and that's a great voice you trust. But if you go on the internet to read something, you got to read five different things on the same topic and then pull out the information and see what like sticks across all, right? So yeah, don't like Nate says, there's just probably some random hybrid athlete fitness bro who's like, yeah, I mean, you should just probably sprint every lap of every practice or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Well, you'll get fast, but uh, yeah, so the set that I have here today is from my buddy Max. He does listen to the podcast, so
Yay,
uh,
shout out to Bax.
I ran into him at our local pool, and he had the workout. I was like, "Oh, dude, let me snap a pic so we can roast it on the podcast." But Max he's a good age group triathlete. Who was maybe top five at Placid in his age group last year, and then qualified for Kona, which he did go to Kona and race as a I think he's 30 to 34. Which is a competitive age group.
Yeah.
He is not a crazy strong swimmer, and he's definitely more of a bike runner. But yeah, maybe he needs a lesson from me. But he hasn't reached out. So Max, come on. I mean, you want to get good or what? Uh, yeah, Nate, why don't you take it off? Take
Yeah.
off the warm up.
So I've looked at the set before we did this episode, and it starts off pretty good, and then it gets a little weird, and yeah, kind of like a lot of swim sets I've seen where it starts off with a little bit of intention, and as you keep going, it's like, oh shoot, I gotta like grab some yards here. I gotta make sure this workout is this long, and it seems like to me that's kind of what this workout does. But the warm up, it's pretty good. Like 200 swim, 4 by 25 kick. You can, it has an interval like 5 to 10 seconds rest. That's just a suggestion. Just take however much rest you need. You're only 300 into this. And then 4 by 25, it says swim fast. And then 200 pull at 70%. I think that's okay. I mean, honestly, the only thing I would change is maybe do some variables, which is like honestly such a good staple of a lot of good swim programs. So variable, we've talked about it before, but I'll remind you, it's like 25 slow to fast, 25 fast to slow, 25 all easy, 25 all fast. That's just a little bit better because instead of just swimming fast for 4, you're probably not going to be swimming that fast compared to if you accelerate on the first one and then start fast and then decelerate and then have an easy one and then go really fast on the last one. I feel like you get just a little more quality out of that kind of variable set.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would completely agree with that. It is only 300 in is the thing too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when you put in this scenario, variables would make more sense. But I feel like if you're 800 into a workout, like I give 425s at 90%. That's like a bread and butter. Like I'll put
Mm.
that throughout the workout all the time. I think it's like just like strides for running, just like a little bit
Yeah.
of efficiency. But yeah, you know, we probably should just make it like a 400 swim to start too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, I think the warm up is yeah, it's fine, and yeah, you know, I do 425s like at 90% at a lot of the ends of my warm ups what I write for people, so I think it's fine.
Okay.
But yeah,
Nice.
but I like the variables in a sense, like yeah, maybe more of a warm up thing, and then later in the day or in the set, you can do a more sustained 90% or 85% or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it then goes into 650s, which is odds 25 single arm drill. And I'm assuming 25 easy after that, or maybe it's one lap. It's one arm, one lap.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
And then maybe
And
one
then
lap swim. Yeah, easy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then the evens are 25 catch up, 25 swim. Which in terms of drills go, I like
Mm-hmm.
single arm, and yeah, catch up I think is a solid drill. Also kind of old school, but they talk about front quadrant swimming. You know where a lot of the time you want your hands kind of in front of you or like in front of your head, right, to kind of stabilize. You kind of want an arm out front stabilizing you, and catch up drill, you know, you touch your hands at the front of your stroke. I like 3/4 catch up too, which is almost catch up and then you switch, also a good drill, and it just helps you find length in your stroke, and we're not, you know, too, you know, we want to extend out front. So this drill can help with that. So not bad. I mean, a fine little preset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think those are good drills. And yeah, especially the single arm. I was actually talking with one of my friends today at the pool. She's gonna be racing in the age group race in Oceanside, and I told her, she like asked me some drills to do. I was like, oh, you should do some single arm drill, and then yeah, I think it's a good one. It also helps create some awareness with that rotation too, because I feel like it just makes it easier to focus on that rotating your body when you're just using one arm. And yeah, you definitely don't want to just swim flat the whole time because
Yeah,
you're not
that's
going to
the
get the most
only
power. Yeah.
that's the only tough thing. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen Max do drills. He's probably listening, and I feel like he doesn't always take them super serious.
Mm-hmm.
So Max, if you're out there, you better have rotated on that that
Yeah.
single arm drill, because yeah, then we don't want to practice swimming flat ever really. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
maybe in a weird scenario.
Yeah.
Um, preset, we got 425's hard kick, and then a 50 pull at 80%. It
Mm-hmm.
also says hard kick buoy, which we don't understand that at all. Like maybe he
Yeah.
used the buoy as a kickboard. If he was wearing a buoy and doing hard kick,
That would be a
that's
no.
abs-
Yeah.
that's
That's a
absolutely
no. You
wild.
should never
But
hard kick with a buoy.
hey, maybe we gotta try it. It's a new
No,
secret formula.
I don't know, man.
I mean, and then yeah, 50 pull, 80%. It's a weird place to just put in pull as well, like a
Mm-hmm.
50 pull, and then you just take it off again for the next set. So, and the preset's only 150 yards, so it's really not even a preset to be honest. Like it's just 6 laps,
It's just
and
more
then you
warm
start the
up.
main set. Yeah.
Yeah. um, but yeah, what do you want to do for that? Do you want to change it all?
Why don't we go? Let's keep the 420. Let's do like 2 rounds, so it'd be like two
Yeah.
times 425's hard kick, and the 50 maybe like build up
Yeah,
to
yeah.
fast,
50 build.
you know, just something a little bit different, but not pull. We don't need to pull on that.
I
Um,
really like build to fast stuff. And if you really focus on it, it's a cool way to really work on just sneaking in like a little bit of high end speed at the end without like making yourself super tired, you know? And I
so,
feel like it when I do it at least, I'm focusing on like each and every stroke and I'm like trying to make each stroke a little bit more powerful than the stroke before it. And yeah, it's
yeah,
fun.
I totally agree. Yeah, it's like, and once you get to the flags, your head's down, you're swimming hard, obviously. I mean, some people, like Nate says, you just swim easy until like half a lap and then you
And
go
then five
hard.
strokes hard.
But,
Yeah.
I always found it when, growing up, the there's always a lot of swimmers. It's build up, and then I'm like going hard at the end, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, these people aren't finishing hard, and some people just don't do it, and those are the people who just don't get good,
Hmm.
right? I mean, it's like the little things over time. So yeah, if you do the 50 build to fast and you go to fast on both of them, and then you build that, do that every workout over time when the coach writes it, you get faster rather than just neglecting all the little things.
Yeah, and what's not fast is when on the last stroke you stop your watch for the interval because it's not fast. It's
Got to
just
you got to get that split so your coach can analyze the data.
oh my
Okay, don't
goodness.
don't know what that means, but go
Yeah.
off, King.
Okay, okay. Anyways. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole yet. Okay, main set. So the main set, it starts off and I'm like, okay, this is cool. 12:25s, and then it tells them Max is supposed to be swimming 21 seconds on 30 for the interval, and then 12:50s in 45 seconds, and he's trying to do those on the minute. And then this is where it gets like a little confusing to me. It's just three 400s. And it gives a time range with very little rest. And I don't know, to me, it just kind of seems like they're trying to get to a certain distance, which I get it. I mean, like triathletes, I'm one of them. We like to have a nice round number, like a 4K set or a 5K set. And it's just like, that's not what makes you good. Hitting a nice, even round number set is not what makes you fast. It's the intention behind the
Yes, it
swimming.
is.
5K every day. But yeah.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you on that. It's a little bit random. The thing I don't necessarily love about it is like a specific time on like 25s and 21. Okay, but 1250s in for at 45 on minute. It's like the day-to-day paces, like what's the effort? I think you should be giving an effort.
Hmm.
Like yes, in college when you're training for something very specific like a 200 freestyle and you're trying to go a specific time, yes, you need to hit specific paces that the coach will give you sometimes, right? But these people are so dialed. I mean, it's like for Max, it's like, hey, 1250 steady on 40 on minute and just do the effort. What is the effort on the day?
Hmm.
I think focusing on times day to day can be, yeah, frustrating. And for people, we want general themes over time, right? We don't need dated, like, you're not trying to improve swimming each day and get faster. You're just trying to improve week by week, month by month, even year by year. So I don't really like such specific times unless it's like a straight up professional swimmer.
Yeah. And there's so many factors too that can affect how fast you're swimming on that day. Like, I know a lot of age group athletes maybe have a job and then they do like a run session in the morning and then they can only swim after work. And maybe you had a particularly hard day at work and you're a little gassed, you know, and like you just can't hit the splits or something. Or maybe you are swimming in the pool and it's way warmer. Like this week, like for whatever reason, they just cranked up the heat at my pool and it was like way warmer than it
It's
normally
because it
is.
was 55 and drizzling.
It's because it was 55 drizzly. They were like, "Oh, we can't have people getting hypothermia out here." But like temperatures in the pool could affect your swim time. So yeah,
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
I'm definitely on that train with Greg. So yeah, some sort of effort. I feel like for 25s for this set, if we if we were to make it a little more digestible, I feel like by like that third 400, maybe even the second one, like you're not really going to be locked in, you know, like most people, especially if you're swimming on your own.
I feel like we should flip it. And so like, but maybe we just go for like 400, 300, 200, 100,
Mm,
right? Instead of three fours. I mean, it's a little shorter. And then you can go to 1250s and then you can go to 1225s. And,
hmm.
maybe the 1225s are every third fast or something like that, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
don't need to do, I do aerobic 50s when short rest, but 25s, it's like, you probably should be doing a little speed if you're doing 25s. I mean,
Yeah.
or if they're just easy, that's one thing. But this just
Hmm.
kind of looks like a aerobic set, right? So I think we should just flip it around. I like going longer to shorter as well, and you kind of increase the speed, which we've done sets like that in the pod, and
Yeah.
that's how we like to structure things normally.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to think if this is like an Ironman athlete doing this set and you're trying to get better at Ironman. Um, yeah, doing starting off with like a good 400 and then cutting it down and trying to hold that pace, I feel like is really applicable to an Ironman. Because
Mm,
obviously, like when you do an Ironman, you're gonna feel good at the start of the swim because you're fresh. And then 30 minutes in, you're gonna be a little bit more tired because you've been swimming for 30 minutes. And then once you hit that hour mark for most people, you're probably gonna feel pretty gassed because you probably haven't taken any nutrition. You've been swimming for an hour.
yeah,
And
true.
yeah, so that's why we like to do those cut down sets. So yeah, starting with a 400, then going to a 3 and trying to hold the same pace. And then it's like,
Ooh, you know what would be actually slightly
yeah.
better if we it keeps it in the same yardage. If we
Hmm.
did like 400, two twos, four ones.
Yeah, I
And
think
like,
that would
yeah,
be
on the
awesome.
200s, maybe we try to
Hmm.
go slightly faster, and the hundreds just slightly better again.
Hmm.
This isn't crazy. We're not blasting threshold, but like
Yeah.
just practicing an Ironman steady effort, like Nate said, and then just practicing maybe a slightly above Ironman steady effort. That's great. And then maybe you go back to Ironman. It's just because races aren't always perfectly steady,
Hmm.
right? There's dynamics, even in age group fields. So you might have to swim a little bit harder, and then you're kind of relaxed, and a little bit harder, and then you're relaxed. So I
Hmm.
think the changes in pace are perfect for that.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. Um, and yeah, so what are we doing? One 400, two twos, four fours, and then eight
No,
fifties.
four
Or four
ones.
ones, yeah, sorry. Four
Yeah,
ones and then eight fifties.
yeah, that sounds good. And then let's keep the 1225s after that
Hmm.
and just do every third one fast. So we can kind of cut out
Yeah.
the 1250 set. And then let's do the 1225s.
Yeah.
Every third is fast. And if you're feeling really good, do every other fast. And I always say 90% is like a good shooting for that type of effort. We've talked about it before. If you say 100%, you can over swim, as they say, where you're
Hmm.
trying to go so hard. So just think about it as 90%. It's really strong, but you have a little bit of comfort in there as well.
Yeah, and for most people too, if you do 125 pretty fast, it's not gonna like take that much out of you, especially if you have a little bit of easy swimming after. And it's just a nice way to swim with better form at the end of a tiring set, which is kind of what this
Hmm.
is.
Yeah, that's important for sure. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, can you keep your form together under fatigue? I mean, that's what we're
Hmm.
training for essentially, right? Like, you do an Ironman, you're gonna feel good the first 20 minutes, but what happens in the last half? And maybe
Hmm.
you get exposed and you're swimming by yourself. Like that's what we're training for. So yeah, doing a little speed when you're tired. We're not gonna say do 200s all out at the end of the set, right? Because
Yeah.
you've swum so much, and like that would be so you have to be so experienced to maybe accomplish that correctly. But
Hmm.
little 25s when you're tired, like Nate said, shouldn't take too much out of you, and you have a chance to have good technique the whole time.
Hmm. Yeah, when I was training for Ironman Canada, I would do sets where I would like try and give it a little more effort the longer it went on, but I was only swimming a little bit faster because you are accumulating that fatigue, especially if it's like a little bit shorter rest. And yeah, you want to work on that pacing for those Ironman swims because that's an hour plus is a long time to swim for. You don't want to be going out super, super hard. Like that's
Mhm.
just not going to serve you well for the race. You want it to feel like kind of chill at the start, especially so like that 400 in this set, like it shouldn't feel like, oh man, like I'm super tired after this. You should feel like, oh, like That's super chill. That's super easy. And then the 300, it's just, I call it tightening the screw. You just tighten the screw a little bit, and just a little bit
Hmm.
tighter, a little bit tighter. And yeah, 5% less effort, 10% better technique.
I like that. No, those are wise words, and it's an hour swim, but it's also a 10-hour day too,
Hmm.
right? So, there's bigger implications than just the swim too. You're like, oh, I got through the swim, and yeah, I was pretty tired. It's like, well, you got a long day ahead of you, and
Yeah.
even in a half, I mean, it depends where your goals are, right? I mean, if you really want to be competitive in your age group at halves, or you're a professional, you got to train to swim pretty
Hmm.
full on. But even an Ironman swim, the pros, they're definitely going to have it just untighten the screws a little bit from their
Hmm.
70.3 pace. It's not going to be quite as hot because they know it's such a long day.
Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, so I hope you guys like those changes and you try this set out if you're training for an Ironman. Um, I know a lot of people are doing their first Ironmans this year, so I'm super excited to see this season, and I hope this is a good set that helps you with that. 200 warm down, pretty chill. Maybe do a 100 kick, and then a 100 swim. And yeah, Greg, you want to close us out with the? Oh no, actually, it's me. I've got a
Yeah, I
hot
did the
take.
quick tip.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if unless you live in New York and you swim at the pool Greg swims at, or you live in Ventura and you swim at my pool, um, be careful taking advice from people. And I would say don't take advice from people who wear those buoyancy swim shorts. Because the buoyancy swim shorts, as nice as they may make you feel, that is probably not the best tool for you to get better at swimming. And I would say it's pretty much 100% just marketing and wetsuit companies trying to sell you another product. So,
I can't speak on it now that I'm sponsored by a company that makes one, but maybe I 100% agree with you.
yeah. So that's the hot take for the day. Don't take advice from someone who wears those flotation buoyancy swim shorts, especially those lava pants. Lava pants by the pool.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, sweet. Have a good one, you guys. Share this episode with your Ironman buddies, especially if you have a friend who's doing their first Ironman this year, and be like, you got this. This is the set for you.
This is the step for you. All right. Cheers, Nate. Thanks.